Hey, what's up? It's Ryan, Combat Off-Road. I wanted to show you guys just a quick install because we want to kind of see, I want you guys to see what it looks like. We have the new raw taillight on there. So I'm going to go over taking off our taillight, which would be the same almost procedure as taking off your OEM light. And then we're going to stick on one of our raw version lights. So I'm going to do it real quick. We'll go back over it. What you're going to get in the box, it's obviously going to be the 2 lamps. You're going to get your gasket material. So once you're done painting it and finishing it up, you just peel that back and you're going to drop it on the perimeter. That's going to give you that protection between the 2 surfaces. Obviously, logo's down, left, right. So you have your second lamp, second gasket. These are going to be your little harness plugs. So if you're not going to use the resistor, you're going to use those and plug that in. We have another video that kind of specific to that, but every single one of these kits will have these little plugs in it. You're going to get your mounting hardware. You're going to get our J hooks, holds the light in. I'll show you how that all works. Do a quick run of what tools you need. Not too many tools at all. So you're going to have a ratchet. I like to have an extension. You're going to have a 7/16 socket. You're going to have a 7/16 wrench, and you have a 5/32 Allen. So that's it. That's all the tools you need. That's to take our light off and put our light on. They're going to be, I believe it's a 10 mil socket head for the plastic bolt for the Jeep OEM light, or I believe it's a large Phillips, either one of those. So it has a Phillips head inside with hex bolts on the outside. And underneath that in cabin, I'm going to open this up. So if you're at the roll bar, and when we're all your like top harnesses, you know, for your power windows and your squirter, if you're to come over here and look down in there, so there's going to be a nice plastic cover. I've taken the taillights off 2,000 times. This has been our OG demo Jeep. So basically you're going to find that bolt in there, and you're going to find where the J hook sticks out. So I'm going to go and get this thing ready to take off. So we're going to start with removing this guy. So this is our original light, the 25-1050 if you want a black eco powder coat version, and this light, our raw version, is the 25-1150. So here I'm gonna punch this one off. So basically all you can do, you can push this right through the pocket, okay? So you can just have that just push right in, don't worry about it. You're gonna take that rubber gasket. We're not ready to keep those on yet, the raw version, so we're gonna put this back on after we're done showing you. But basically that's gonna be our 5/32 Allen key, and then we're gonna grab our 7/16 wrench. So this is a nut and bolt application. No drilling or anything. I'll show you when we get it off. So we're just gonna extract that really quick.
So we'll probably speed this up. Anyways, so just, you're not gonna, this is kind of reverse of what we're gonna do, and then we're gonna go forward.
So that'd be our washer, Allen bolt, and our nut. Get rid of those guys. So this is probably the longest install of the 3 models between JK, the JL, and the JT, but at the same time it's super easy. I'm just gonna put that there. So what I like to do is always just start extracting the bolt. So this is gonna be our J hook. I don't know if you can get in there and kind of see that. So if you guys can see in there, you'll see the hook around the bar here, and you could probably maybe see how it goes all the way up into the cabin. So what we're gonna do here is, yeah, feel free to move that around. So I'm going to run around in here and I'm going to just start to loosen that. And then I usually take the ratchet off after it doesn't have any more torque on it. And I'll stick my hand right through here. I'm going to guide, just hold the J-hook in place. And I'm basically just taking off the nut and washer. Just double checking how much more I have left. Not too much. Sorry, it's a little noisy maybe, but this is all, we like doing the driveway because the kind of cool driveway jobs. But it's so funny, it was super quiet for the longest time. So there. So we got that out, it's off. I'm just gonna grab my washer. So that's the J-hook. So it follows that profile right up into that little hole there. And that's where the OEM taillight bolts in. So now that we have the bracket gone, so we have the whole harness and everything's unplugged. Drop this off here. Same OEM plug. So basically you're pulling back the disconnect there, the safety, the lock. You're just gonna push down on here and give it a bit of a wiggle. And there we go. So disassembled, ready to go. You know, there it is. So that's going to be your OEM plug. This truck does not have proximity sensors. If you have proximity sensors, they will not work directly with our armor because the radar can't shoot through and pick up any signals. So what you're going to want to do is turn it off with the J-scan, or you can turn it off with the taser. We love the taser because you can do so many other cool things with it. And if you guys don't know the tasers from Z Automotive, look it up because I can't afford to sit here and talk about all the options for the taser. So anyways, just for fun, we're gonna get to the raw. So it'll come in the bag, ready to go. The light's installed, okay? So you're gonna have to pop it out because we need to be able to bolt this on, okay? So you can punch it out upwards, backwards, doesn't really matter. I like going back through the back door, you know what I mean? Anyways. So this is kind of what I like to do. So these are all right. So you're gonna find your OEM plug. You can hang on to this guy. Basically you hear the first click. That means you're engaged, the pins are engaged. And then you got the other click, so that can't back out. So we're good that way. So we said in other videos, but the resistor is remote. So you can remove it by unplugging it on both ends, okay? So if you have a taser or a J-scan, or if you have LED already, you're gonna wanna take that out and you're gonna reach back into the box. You're gonna find this sweet little bag of these little pins, okay? Little plugs, I guess you'd call them. So I'll just take one out so you guys kind of see what I'm doing. And don't worry, they're meant to be sticky. It's basically dielectric grease. So you got the pre-lube. So basically all you're gonna do, once you remove the bullet connector, you're gonna go to the harness side. And I'm not gonna plug this all in because they're such a pain to get out, but they click right in. If you ever need to take it back out, that little tab, I just get a pair of needle nose, or you could use your teeth if you're a pirate or something like that and just rip it out. So they just pop in there and plug in. That keeps the harness weather pack connected, so you don't have to worry about any other crap getting in there. So basically, that's what I would do. I would definitely omit the resistor if you don't need it. If you're a halogen guy, you don't have a taser, you don't want to buy one, you don't want to do J-scan and all that kind of stuff, you leave the taser. That's kind of who this is designed for. So yeah, just leave it in place. It gets hot, so we've been telling people forever, trying to warn them every which way we can, never connect it to the harness, never have it touching the lamp, never have it touching the bulk harnesses here, never have it interfering with anything soft and rubbery and melty, because this is gonna melt, okay? So the fins are there to cool it. So you basically wanna go with a double-sided tape. You can get in here and drill a couple of holes. You can put machine screws, or like I said, if you got the taser or any of those things, I would use that. It's just so much easier. For the sake of this video, and we're not really gonna turn this on for more than 5 seconds, I'm just gonna throw it in there. Okay. So the next move is gonna be the J hook. So these are those hooks, like a J, like Sesame Street. So basically you're gonna grab the J hook. Yeah, so that's the J hook. You're gonna hook it under there. And then I'm gonna put my hand right through the main lamp. I'm gonna guide it up in there. So that's about it. So that's gonna get us that in the right spot. It's gonna sit in there. So what you can do, if you don't have any friends, I mean, you probably have friends, but if you don't have friends right with you, we're gonna steal the old hardware, but you're gonna get your Allen, the 536 Allen head. You get that flat washer. And does anyone know that there's actually sides to washers? So the radius, like the chamfered sides, right? Versus the flat cut side, the 90 cut side. So you always want to put the 90 cut side to the material you're fastening, and then the nut goes on the radius side. So just a little fun, little tip. So all I'm gonna do here is spin these just snug with my fingers, just to kind of give us a locate. Then I can grab the other one. All right, because these holes are already here from the OE. So there's no drilling, very easy install. Making it harder. Get the nut on. Okay, so like I said, just snug that up. Then you're gonna get your last flat washer nut. I like to stick my hand right through here. Make sure it's still in the hole. Make sure it's still connected to the bar. So I'll just taut that up. I'll run inside here. You basically just, oops. I don't know what I did. So you're basically dropping the washer down, and then you're gonna drop the nut down. Oops. If you're having a ton of problems getting the nut on, because somehow I am right now, what you can do is another fun little pro tip. If you had any like little bit of wheel bearing grease or any kind of grease, you just stick a dab on your finger and a dab on the nut, and it kind of acts like a little bit of glue, and it helps it kind of stick to your finger for a second until you get it on. Downfall is you have grease on your finger, but just get a shop rag or something. Okay, so that's all started. So what I like to do next, I just like to pull the light in, make sure it's in a good spot. I reach in here at just the socket and the little extension. So it has to be a deep socket, okay? So it's gonna be 7/16 deep, just so when the rod, extra rod material has a place to sit while you're tightening the nut. So I'm just gonna tighten it up. It's my hand. Okay, so that's going to be tight enough for us right now. It doesn't have to be crazy. Just enough where you see it pull in. So we don't have the gasket on this one because it's not done. Where did I put the original? Just so you guys can kind of see it. Whoa. So that's the foam gasket. So you have it in the kit. You just put it on after you paint it. So, and that'll buffer between the paint and your new taillight. And then we're gonna get our 5/32 Allen key and our 7/16 wrench. Just gonna snug those up. They don't have to be crazy tight either. Just basically tight, and then a little quarter turn. All right. So that's going to get us all that stuff. So for this part, obviously once you've secured the resistor, if you're using it in a nice spot, your wiring's all plugged in, the safety's locked up, so it can't back out. The next move, you can pull the actual lamp through the grommet, and then all you're going to do is set the grommet in. And I just like to push it just to make sure it's all good. If you feel like you're worried you're going to break the lamp or something like that, or you feel like this is too sticky, you could get a little bit of water and a little bit of dish soap, very little. You could spray it, or you could just dip your finger in and you could just lubricate up that area. I'm going to steal it. This is easier for me to go on this side. So you can just dive the light in. This is all brand new, so it might be a little sticky, but it's not bad. So you basically just dive the light in, and you know you got it when you just have a little bit of rim here. And that's it. So that's installed. We'll turn that on. We'll double check. And there it is. Fancy JL taillight. All raw. Cool logo. Fit and finish is great. Like I said, you would add that perimeter gasket. And just make sure everything's tight. So you only have the 3 bolts and the J-hook. And that's all it is to install. Very simple. So if you guys have any questions about the raw or about aluminum, we got all kinds of different videos, but feel free to reach out. Can't wait to see what you guys do with these guys. I'm looking for some hot pink anodized ones or something cool. All right, thanks.